Hello everyone, and welcome back to the... Hey, can you keep it down over there? I'm trying to do the intro. Anyways, welcome back to the Persona Versus series. After the island went up in flames and the crew and I suffered a few months at sea, we ended up washing ashore to an apocalyptic city, filled to the brim with the undead. And just like that, inspiration struck. So today, the casts of Persona 3, 4, and 5 have been scattered around this desolate wasteland, and they're going to have 24 hours before I press this shiny red button and nuke the town to smithereens. Grab your shotgun shells, a box of Twinkies, and a bucket of popcorn, and welcome to Persona City!
I lost my keys, turned the door wide shut. Only have one wish, now it's never gonna come true. Trapped in time, forever in remorse. How could I ever be in peace when nothing else matters tonight? Don't you make me do this, do this, do this. Don't you make me do this, do this. Don't you make me, don't you make me.
Now, as always, before we can indulge ourselves in today's festivities, we need to establish the challenge, its rules, and its win conditions. Oh yeah, and also a spoiler warning for all the games up on screen right now. First of which, there's the deadline. The funny little freaks are only going to have 3 days to strike up alliances, fight through the hordes of the undead, or cut their way through to an exit with the resources they've gathered. Now you might be wondering how exactly I'm going to distribute the characters and resources this time around. Will they start in teams? How will I decide what's going where? And how is this going to come off without me being incredibly biased? Well, at ease, strawman viewer, because I'm going to adopt some techniques from my experience with tabletops. I decided the best way to do this would split the city into coordinates, where I would roll the dice to decide what goes to what sector. And the amount of resources and characters that end up there are entirely based on the dice. Or if you want to see the footage of me coming up with the bullshit and then live reacting to the rolls,
The squad!
the Patreon is right there. Then there are the victory conditions. Characters will be considered victors if they can make it to one of the escape sectors without being infected. But to keep things interesting this time around, there will be 3 mysterious awards to allocate at the very end that could resurrect and save even infected characters if they win. Think Mario Party bonus stars blended with the unrivaled power of Christ. But what are the awards? I have no clue. To keep this as wacky as possible, I let one of my Patreon members to secretly create 3 win conditions applied at the end of the video. And I won't know what these are until I'm done scripting the video. So give it up to today's Persona gamer, and then I don't know who it is at the time of scripting this, so just put them up on screen. Woo! Yeah, we love this guy or girl or they or them. Hey, so this is way in the future, Joe. I completely forgot that there was a completely second reward for this video that I promised. Alongside the bonus rewards, I promised one of my Patreon members that they could be thrown into the competition alongside the other characters, or choose another character to go in their stead. So Sporkers from my Patreon suggested that we put Kaisuke Kaisuke Hiraga, that's probably, I'm not saying it right. Scott the Waz from Persona 3. Kind of a little bit late for me to include him in this. Here's a compromise. First off, go ahead and throw Sporkers in the Hall of Frederick. I'm sorry. Second, I'm going to enlist Adam to hide Kaisuke in 3 different spots in this video that I will not know where he is. So go ahead and keep an eye out for him and go ahead and comment where you can find him. And then finally, as per usual, there will be no powers whatsoever. If I get one more comment being like, but the Persona 3 cast can summon their personas in the real world without evokers, or what would the Dark Hour do in this? Guys, no powers at all, okay? Do you really think these videos would be interesting if Ken could bring the wrath of God down upon anyone he God well pleases? Let's just have some fun, okay? Let's not overthink it. Leave the overthinking to me. But with all the groundwork laid out, so let's go ahead and get into the first hour. Our journey begins in District 15 as none other than Minato wakes up in the scattered wreckage of a desolate apartment. He takes a look outside to see that the city is infested with the Walking Dead. He's able to locate that there is an escape route out of the city, but it appears to be particularly crowded with zombies. So it isn't going to be as simple as an endeavor as just sneaking past them. He does wonder what's keeping them grouped up over there.
Am I the a-hole for telling my brother the truth on why I don't...
Doorboy looks around the room to see if any of his allies are with him, but to no avail. He feels as if he was split up from them recently, but the whole experience is kind of a blur to him. As he makes his way out of the bedroom and into the living room of the apartment, he can't help but feel like he's being watched. As he cautiously looks around the room trying to find some form of self-defense, he doesn't notice the zombie creeping out from behind him. Just as he notices its presence, he's about to get bit and... Joker swiftly jumps out of the shadows and takes down the zombie before it can lay a hand on Minato. The two analyze each other, trying to discern if they are friend or foe. After a moment of tension, they do let their guards down, realizing there's a certain kinship between the two of them. The two quickly catch each other up to speed on how they both woke up here alone, and they share a common goal of finding their friends and getting the hell out of here. The two of them do their best to arm themselves with a table leg and a kitchen knife, and they start making their way out towards the city. However, what the two of them don't notice is a shadowy figure trailing behind them. Meanwhile, right next door, we have another apartment building. This one containing everyone's favorite gamer, Futaba Sakura. Yes, guys, she's in this one. I thought it would be funny to not include her in the Persona Pokemon video as a goof, because how many people commented that she was left on the island in the video before? But so many of you just genuinely thought that I forgot to put her in the video. So I aim to rectify that today. So Futaba's team is going to start off with, as she leaves the bedroom looking for her compatriots, she finds... All right, this is looking pretty bad for her, but maybe she'll get a good starting attribute. All right, it might seem that Futaba was done a bit dirty here, but I need to bring up 2 points. For one, everyone was given an equal chance of bullshit during the roulette. And two, it seems like a lot of you agreed with me that she wouldn't be able to survive anyways. Maybe if she were to start in some sort of IT company, she would have stood a better chance. But that unfortunately wasn't the case. Fuka, on the other hand! So Fuka is absolutely yoked during this competition. She not only started in a massive tech company, but there are absolutely zero zombies and zero competition. Granted, she got no modifier, but that hardly matters with everything else she has to work with.
Huge for Fuka. Fuka can cook so hard at the start of this, holy shit.
Fuka gathers her composure and sees what she might be able to scrounge up to find her friends. Although not everyone was as lucky as her. Because just a couple of blocks down from here is a park swarming with zombies, as we see everyone's favorite misogynist running for his goddamn life. However, in his frantic attempts to get to safety, this accidental act of stupidity reveals that Yosuke was hiding in a nearby trash can. Now we're only missing like one dumbass to complete the asshole trifecta. Okay, so I promise this wasn't intentional, but somehow when I was rolling the results for the video, all three of the dude bros ended up in the exact same starting area.
Oh my god! Dude, all the dumbasses are in the same fucking park!
Well, did they at least get anything useful to help them? Oh, I thought you liked Yosuke.
Hey man, I didn't choose to put them here. I just rolled the dice. Anyways, what are you even doing in here? You're supposed to be getting the cavalry ready?
Yeah, get on with talking about your twinks now.
So the three idiots do their best to carry the gallon of water and find their way to refuge. They do see that an escape is not far from here, but they decide to course correct for the time being and find refuge in a nearby apartment. Now at this point, I would completely understand if you're getting a bit overwhelmed at the pace we're going through these characters. So let's slow down a bit here and discuss something a bit more interesting. We head on into Sector 19, where we find Kanji slugging down zombies one at a time with his weapon of choice. Honestly, such a fucking perk for the Tatsumeister that almost every building has a proficient weapon for him. As he finishes the final zombie in the lobby, he hears the elevator coming down. Steeling himself for the battle ahead, he's shocked to see the door open to reveal another high school student and her dog. The three of them hit it off instantly, Kanji in particular being absolutely smitten with Koromaru. The party isn't over yet though, as the group hears the broom closet door creak open to reveal The friendly detective introduces himself and informs them that he's on their side, which leads Kanji to come to the shocking revelation that he's met this guy before. He was one of his allies when they were trying to escape that island. But wait, if this detective guy is here, then how is the dog? Wasn't he eliminated? And why is Akechi making his heart beat so fast? Did he remind him of someone else? Akechi puts Kanji's himbo brain to rest and simply tells him it's nice to see him again, while properly introducing himself to Katone and Koromaru. Now, I already know there are going to be some of you that want to comment that Koromaru should be growling at Zestfest Overload, being able to pick up on his true nature, but PQ2 has already set a precedence for these two getting along quite nicely. However, Katone takes notice that Akechi has a few things of note on his person: a backpack, a katana, and a pistol, and she asks where he found all of this. The boy smiles and tells her that he just so happened to wake up with them. He was quite perplexed himself, but wasn't going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Except coincidence, it was not! Because Akechi, ladies and gentlemen, was our community selected champion. For once on this channel, it wasn't just me showing my bias towards the twink, it was the choice of the masses. If you were one of the people who voted for him, seriously, let me know in the comments if it had anything to do with Island, or if you just think he's neat. Or if you voted for someone else, go ahead and comment that too. I'd genuinely love to see which of my reoccurring viewers voted for who. But yes, as previously stated, the community champion bonus includes copies of their weapons of choice and something else sort of special that we'll get into later. Akechi tells the group that given the circumstances, it's best that they stay together and find a way out of here. And in a token of good faith, he's willing to share his resources, as he believes that a human shield goes much further. Since Kanji already seems to be armed, he offers Katone his pistol. He asks if she's ever shot a gun before. She says yes. Now all that's left is to give something to Koromaru. While it might seem like there's a good bit of success going on so far, I've been skimming over some of the more unfortunate cases. So let's go ahead and cover some ground. As we enter the bank, we finally round off the protagonists by finding Yunarukami, who just so happened to spawn with his weapon of choice. As he's mowing down the zombie sicko style, he's quickly aided in his defense by Shinjiro. After the horde is dealt with, Yunarukami starts giving a heartfelt and emotional speech to Shinjiro about their bond and how the only way they're going to get out of this situation is if they stick together and act as... After this, we cut back into two teens scrambling to get inside of a department store. As they all get in and lock the doors behind them, Yoshizawa is relieved to see that the other girl that came in with them is none other than Haru, who just so happens to have Morgana with her. They ask her what happened to her, and she explains that her, Rise, and Yusuke all woke up in a parking lot together, but Yusuke made a valiant sacrifice and saved their lives. Haru then catches them up that while they didn't wake up with a third person, they did however, find these weird robot arms and legs with a note that said that there were two more parts to assemble. Yoshizawa is surprised by this, but Rise comes to the realization that these are probably the parts of the robot girl from the island. Morgana says he came to the same conclusion. However, he doesn't think they're going to be pit against each other this time around. Rise waking up with that only supports his theory. He believes if they can assemble her, they might just have their ticket out of here. However, their conversation is cut short as the zombies break down the door, causing them to go on the defensive. It really makes you start to wonder, where might those other Aegis pieces be? Congratulations! You have been selected as the community champion. As a reward, you will not only be gifted your weapons of choice, but also a very special bonus. How you use this is up to you. Good luck! Meanwhile, as Joker and Minato fight their way through hordes of zombies in the streets, they end up discovering some unexpected faces.
Are you sure this is gonna work, dude?
Yeah, man, trust me. It's a foolproof plan. Joker, recognizing his vulgar boy, helps the two of them up and asks them if they know what's going on. Yosuke catches them up, and he tells them that they were originally a group of 3, but they stumbled into a zombie-infested apartment in an attempt to find shelter. And sadly, their good friend of 10 minutes, Junpei, was taken by the horde, and amongst them was the zombified corpse of Futaba as well. This deeply saddens the two protagonists, but they agree they have to keep pressing on. Before they start heading out though, the shadowy figure that was stalking them earlier reveals themselves, and they turn out to be none other than Naoto. She was just keeping herself hidden until she could get more information. But the severity of the situation no longer calls for discretion and more blatant teamwork. With the new team of 5 established, the gang presses on. If you couldn't tell, we're at the part of the video that's like in the subspace emissary when all the small groups start to meet up and team up together. Speaking of Smash Bros, did any of you guys catch the last? Whoa, hey, I'm gonna interrupt my previous shill for a different one, but I'm gonna make it quick. But timestamp up on screen as normal if you just want to skip past all of this. So in my previous video, I did start to get a little bit more personal about what's been going on with me and how I've got this project that's coming up that could help save the channel, because if it doesn't go well, I might have to stop making videos for a really long time. I won't retread my thoughts here too much. Link to that video is in the description if you want to watch it. But I have never gotten an amount of emotional and positive support on anything I've ever done like I did in that video. And it was just insane. Thank you everyone for the kind words, and even some of the mad lads who donated money or joined the Patreon after it. I'm gonna make a proper video talking about that whole experience and thanking everyone a bit more, profoundly coming up soon. But in the meantime, I just wanted to announce that the backer kit that we were trying to get made is officially up and live right now. It's going to be running for about a month after this video goes live and is going to help me basically make the game that I've wanted to make for 5 years. Again, won't go hard on the sell here, but it's essentially an improv party board game where you and your friends roleplay and compete to be the best action movie character and get your jobs done before the other players. There's been a lot of people who have been asking me how they can support me through this financial situation I'm in, and instead of joining the Patreon or even tipping on this video, please consider giving that money towards that backer kit. We need to get 100% funding for me to get any of it. That all being said, links to the trailer in the description as well, and I hope to see you guys over on the backer kit. Members who pledge in the first 48 hours will get the 1.0 version of the game instantly, so please consider checking it out. In the meantime, back to this brain rot. Across town, we check in with Mitsuru. Her luck hasn't been all too great so far. She woke up alone, and the only thing she was able to find was a cell phone and a pipe to arm herself with, as she appears to be hiding from something just as she's about to sneak away. This causes the entity to notice her and start giving chase. As Mitsuru starts to run, she answers the phone to hear Fuka on the other end. She's managed to establish contact with her by MacGyvering all the electronics in the office into a communication device. Mitsuru tells her it isn't a good time, as Fuka quickly asks what the hell is going on over there. Is she being chased by zombies? Mitsuru says no and explains it's Akihiko. Yes, seriously. And something has gotten into him since she saw him leaving the school earlier. This causes Fuka to pull up some security camera footage from around 30 minutes ago to find out what happened to him. Okay, middle school Akihiko. Okay. I'm sure that won't have any hectic repercussions on the rest of the competition. I barely can wait. Hey, you know what? Speaking of bear, let's go ahead and check in on Teddy. Alright, I'm sorry to interject here, but I have to record this really quick. This isn't part of the script, so Adam, just go ahead and throw on whatever footage you want here and then just put some light accompanying visuals. But I feel like I need to give a bit more justification on the Makoto thing from like 10 seconds ago. Because I initially thought we were all in agreement that Makoto would lose this competition due to the first poll that I threw up on the channel, but there were a few people that were like, I don't know, man, maybe she could pull through her anxiety. So then I put out a second poll explaining the situation, condition, which I thought was gonna convince more people that she could not do it, but for some reason that increased the people who thought that she could survive this. So without getting too crazy into the Makoto video essay here, I'm just gonna jump in and say I still think she loses. Yes, there is a very good chance that Ken could pull her enough together and carry her through a victory, or alternatively, the existence of Ken being there could force Makoto to lock in, but I just really don't think that's the case still. Like, yes, I know that Makoto is genuinely more scared of ghosts than zombies, and I know some people could argue that's the same thing, but it's not only just ghosts that she's scared of, it's just genuinely creepy situations. This is further exemplified in the Persona 5 Strikers scene, as well as a few Mementos conversations where she says she's just scared of the dark. So not only is it the fact that she's waking up basically alone with a random kid, which already in the scenes where we've seen her break down and cry for her sister, she was surrounded by very capable loved ones and still reacted that way. But the fact that the outside area is immediately one of the highest threat levels, I don't think she's locking in within enough time to get herself out of there. And I think Ken does try to protect her, but immediately gets overwhelmed due to the lack of bullets. This isn't me hating on the character by any means, I just genuinely don't think she can pull through on this. Maybe if she started with another one of the Phantom Thieves or a bit better of a starting arsenal, maybe? When you have all of this going for you and react like this, and then all of this against you, and nothing from the other side of the screen, I just can't in good faith give it to her. Go ahead and comment down below why you think I'm wrong. It's great for engagement. But anyways, back to where we were before. Yeah, Adam's really gonna love this 3-minute derail. We pick back up with the good, the bad, and the silly, as they've started fighting their way through the city looking for an escape. As they turn the corner, they're surprised to see another group of survivors doing the same thing. It's Morgana, Haru, and Rise.
Exactly what happened to Yoshizawa?
So, anyone read any good books lately?
I think it's best not to talk about it. The two groups quickly convene in a nearby building to share some intel. Morgana tells the other group that he spotted an exit nearby, but there's no way they're cutting through without assembling Aegis. Kanji asks what's stopping them from just cutting through anyway.
Why, it's Amy Rose, of course.
Kitone then asks how they even know about Aegis, which leads Rise to present the first group with the piece of Aegis they acquired. Akechi then steps forward and tells the group he's got an idea on where the final piece may be. Oh yeah! Here's a map that tells you where all the other Aegis pieces are located.
Anything else on that tape you might want to tell us about?
You have found something that meets the criteria of your special obligations under paragraph 4.
The group is ecstatic at the news, and they start making their way towards the building of Akechi's instruction. However, Morgana and Haru are hesitant. Did he say final piece? They only should have one, right? Keeping their suspicions reserved, they follow the group with their wits about them. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, we check back in with Doorboy's team. They're doing their best to scavenge for some more resources, but easily the best thing they found was Shinjiro and Yu. Yu is instantly ready to join the team and help them escape, but Shinjiro insists on going it alone. He's got a friend he's trying to find before he... Shinjiro says never mind, as he's sure his friend will be fine. With the team up now 2 members, 1 member, it's finally time for them to make their escape attempt. Before we can follow the escape plans, there's one more duo we need to check in with, as we find Mitsuru, who is now ransacking a local building trying to find some sort of food. Fuka cuts in to see if the girl is hungry, but Mitsuru tells her that the food isn't for her. It's actually going to be their ticket out of there, if she can just find the right... But we're going to have to check in on this later, since we need to go check in on how Akechi's team is doing. With their newly acquired members, the gang enters a warehouse based off of Akechi's instructions. As he begins to tell them to fan out, Morgana steps forward and confronts him about his slip-up earlier. The group only had 1 piece. Why did he say final piece? Akechi smiles and admits to the group he already had acquired the 3rd piece upon waking up, presenting Aegis' powered-off head. Everyone is shocked by this and demand to know why he didn't tell them sooner. He dismisses their frustrations by simply stating he had no ulterior motives. He just didn't think think assembling the robot girl was gonna be a possibility, so he decided not to mention it till now. I want to clarify that there are a numerous amount of timelines in which he uses Aegises to negotiate or blackmail people, but considering how the roles ended up in this, there kinda was just no benefit from him lying or deceiving anyone further than this. This was objectively the smartest thing for him to do with the cards he was dealt. The rest of the group is a bit hesitant of his explanation, but it's not like they're in a situation to fight over it. After a couple of minutes of digging around, they do eventually find the final pieces. All that's left to do is assemble them. Oh boy, I've been waiting for this one. Did you guys think I'd really let you assemble the war machine that easily? I don't think so. It's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Zombear! What the fuck?
What just happened?
I don't know! You were supposed to infect the bear and load it into the factory.
I did. I even fed it the food you told me to.
Huh. Well, shit.
What do you suppose we do now then?
I don't know. I've never gotten this far without a bear before. Why don't you go ahead and track down Teddy? Maybe we can roid him up and sick him on them.
Ugh, fine, but don't think I'm happy about this.
No? Yeah, that's fine. I think I need to lie down anyways.
God, the way he's actually really starting to get on my nerves. Does he not actually realize how much he— The fuck is that? No!
Anyways, now that we have that letdown out of the way, I guess we're gonna tune in with Joker's team and see what they're up to.
Are you sure this is gonna work?
Of course, dude! It's a foolproof plan! All we have to do is wait for them to pass through, and then— Damn it! The gang suddenly revealed from their hiding place is now being circled by not only the zombies, but Akihiko as well. They need a miracle to cut through this, and fast. Luckily for them, Mitsuru appears and runs towards the group. She chucks a bottle past them and towards the zombies as it falls onto the ground next to them. Yosuke asks what the hell that's gonna do, but Mitsuru simply smiles and says that's no mere bottle. That was a protein shake. Mitsuru quickly yells that this is their only chance if they're gonna start gunning for the exit. Everyone agrees and starts booking it. The group uses the Akihiko stage hazard to successfully cut through the horde. All three protagonists, Naoto and Shinjiro, successfully make it outside of the city, thus being the first victors of today's video. However, Mitsuru waits at the city threshold, hoping to beacon Akihiko over, but he's too focused on going sicko mode right now. In her desperation to get his attention, she doesn't notice the zombie approaching from behind, just as she's about to get bit. Wait, how the hell is that possible?
I did it.
Jesus! Who the hell are you and how did you get in here?
I'm a ghost, Humor, and I can go wherever I want.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. I mean, no the fuck it doesn't, but we're running out of budget to explain it in more detail. You mean to tell me you resurrected Junpei?
Pretty much.
How?
I don't know. The power of love, I guess.
Oh, wait, could you have always done that?
Pretty much.
Then why haven't you before?
I didn't feel like it.
You're not giving me a lot to work with.
Aren't I a fun character?
Through the power of the protein shake, Akihiko finally comes down from his wicked high and finally goes through the escape with Junpei and Mitsuru. That's gonna wrap up that group. I sure wonder how the other team is going to be able to get through. Oh, so that's just the end of the video, isn't it? This is probably the one with the most room for discussion. By the very nature of random chance heavily affecting the characters in this one, there are definitely some characters who probably could have survived if their circumstances were just a bit different, but didn't due to some horrible RNG. But tell you what, as a token of good faith, here's a tier list of how everything shook up in this video, and here's another tier list on how I think this would have altered if the situations were a bit more general across everyone else. Okay, and just to cover my bases, here's everything on screen for every character that I did not go over in this video. Still comments about it though, again, engagement, it helps. But let's say that I did this video where I put all the teams together like I did in Island. Which of them do I think would come out on top? Or at the very least, do the best job at escaping and surviving? I actually think that the Phantom Thieves would take home the gold on this one. But something that didn't get mentioned too much in this video is stealth. If you make a lot of noise in a zombie apocalypse, you're just going to drag in a boatload of unwanted attention. Which, yes, while Aegis can mow down zombies by the horde, she's gonna make a lot of noises using her various guns and explosions. Also factor in that most of the people on that team are close combat fighters, it just kinda knocks them down a peg. Whereas the Phantom Thieves, while still having that close quarters combat, are all exceptionally skilled with ranged combat to an extent, and have the best maneuverability of the groups. And besides, if I don't say it, somebody else will, Haru could have probably just played Plants vs. Zombies the entire fucking time. So if I were to give one of the teams a win, it's gonna be them. Sorry, investigation team, you're gonna get your day eventually. Also, since I haven't done this in a while, I'm going to be anointing Leo the Gaming Cat the Fredhead of the day. It was their comment about stealth and sound that I thought was really good and wanted to throw in here at the end. So, congratulations! Welcome to the Hall of Fredrick. I don't usually put these in at the end, but hey, I have a brand to uphold. But hey, let's not forget those bonus conditions submitted by the Patreon winner. Let's throw those up on screen right now. You know, I'm usually the one showing favoritism to Akihiko in these videos, but it's honestly amazing this is how this worked out. But that's gonna wrap things up for now. You know, I can't believe we went entire video without the bear showing up. Isn't that funny, Adam? Adam?
I wouldn't say an entire video.
What? Who is it now? No, 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 no!